Hello?
Hey, Alan, it's Roger.
Hi, Roger. How are you?
Good. Are you ready for Lisa?
I am. Thank you.
Okay, here we go.
Hang on tonight.
Alan.
Hi, Lisa. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Thanks for calling today. I appreciate it. We're looking forward to having you here. We're looking forward to having you here in Pennsylvania in a couple of weeks for the show.
Yeah, great. I love it there. It's beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I want to talk to you first about the new record and the tour, of course. Congratulations on all the great reviews that it's had since it's been out for about a year and a half now. I love the record. I've listened to it a lot. And I have all your records, by the way. I'm a fan, so it's a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you.
Let's talk about the inspiration for this record. You know, from what I understand, you wrote most of it in England?
That's correct. All of it.
So you wrote all the songs there shortly after you had moved there and you decided to do another album. What was the muse for your songs this time around? Where did the inspiration come from?
It always just comes from whatever's going on in my life, really. Whatever's happening. So that's pretty much every one of my records is the same. Whatever's happening, it's just a way for me to sort of purge whatever I've experienced or seen or gone through.
What were some of the things going through back in 2010, 2011 that showed up in songs?
Just having to completely get rid of everything I once knew in my life, like having an awakening to realizing that things around me weren't as they seemed, and people around me weren't what I thought, and it was, you know, things were kind of falling apart, and I wasn't sure what was going on, and it started a whole, like, domino effect, and then everything I just kind of deconstructed everything and went from ground zero, got rid of everybody and everything that I knew and started over again. Left the country and...
Is the music and the writing, is that a cathartic thing for you as you try to sort those things out in your life?
Yeah, very much so. I mean, when I did this record, I was just writing to get myself through a certain period. So I didn't have a deal or a label or anything in mind. I was just writing for myself as I was going through, you know, sort of processing a lot of things.
And that kind of leads perfectly to my next question, because you wrote all these songs, like you said, without a deal. And yet, when a guy like T-Bone Burnett heard the songs, an accomplished Grammy-winning, you know, Academy Award-winning producer, he got right on board. He loved the stuff. How much did that mean to you, to have someone like him throw his arms around the project with such enthusiasm?
It meant everything to me at the time, because I really didn't have a whole lot of, after going through all of what I went through, I didn't come out with a whole lot of confidence about anything anymore, because everything I had known or thought was true or good wasn't in my life. So, aside from the immediate things, like my children and the normal stuff, so it was I didn't have a whole lot of confidence at that time. I didn't have any kind of fire. My furnace was very dimly lit at the time. So when he believed in me and wanted to do the project, it really sort of breathed some life into me again, some confidence into me that I desperately needed at the time. So yeah, it was very welcomed.
And then the next part of my question, you know, first I wanted to ask you about the songwriting and then about that part of it, but then the record comes out and, you know, Rolling Stone calls it, you know, the album you were born to make, and Spinner calls it, you know, a moody masterpiece, and, you know, these reviews are coming out, you know, calling it the best work of your life. How did that feel after working through that emotionally, getting the record done, getting another record deal, working with a producer, and then having people really like it?
Well, it would be weird for me to say that, I don't know, it was so raw and so honest and so real that I didn't honestly care, because it was so from my soul.
I can see that, sure, I can see that.
And I didn't care in terms of, like, not that I'm not appreciative, but I knew that it wasn't, there's no bells, there's no whistles, there's no smoke screens, there's no, you know, there's no tracks running, it's all very authentic. So the people that I wanted, that I care about, it would reach. Not, you know what I mean? I kind of want to explain that better now. It was more of a labor of love. It wasn't like And if somebody didn't like it, then it was like I was too raw to even care. It was just where I was coming right from my soul. So what am I going to do at that point? It was so real. If it didn't resonate as that, then I honestly, then you want fluff or you want something else. That's totally their choice. But you know what I'm saying?
I do. I could totally see it, almost like it's gravy. Hey, you like it? Good. I wrote it for me. Right? that kind of
a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
But again, I'm always very appreciative. I love it. Of course, everyone likes an acknowledgement. But it was so pure and done right out of like a lot of going through a lot that I was like, this is just going to help other people, because I've tried to formulate songs for myself, and when I go through something, I try and make a song out of it so that other people can also relate, and it can help other people. I try to transform whatever I've gone through into a song so that it can help others, and that's what I care about. If it reaches other people and helps somebody else get through something, even if it's dark, even if it's not always great, and lollipops, you know what I mean?
Sure.
It's like, I just, that's what I care about.
Well, I think you've certainly reached a lot of people with this record. The next thing I want to talk to you about is some of the really interesting things you've been up to with your music over the last year or so. I should tell you, I'm from Pennsylvania. I'm 1,000 miles from Memphis, but I've been there. I've been to Graceland. I laid a flower on your father's grave. I've been to Sun Studio. I've been to Overton Park Band Shell. I'm a fan, so I went down there. I think what you and everybody that runs Graceland does is fabulous, and you do a wonderful job, and as a fan, I want to thank you for that. You've been down there. You've been doing some interesting things. I mean, you recorded at Sun twice now. You did a CD release, CD signing party there, I believe, and then you did a duet with a track from your dad. But then earlier this year, you went back. So I want to talk to you about performing at Sun and Overton Park and the Jungle Room. We'll take them one at a time. What did it mean for you to go into Sun Studio and set up some gear and sing some songs and record? How did that feel for you?
It was very exciting for all of us. I loved it. We spent the whole day there doing the signings and the recording, and did recording for Sun Sessions. They have a show where people do recording
for PBS. That was the second time you were there. The first time you were there was when you did the tracking of the duet, correct?
No, we never did that. T-Bone and I did that in L.A.
Oh, okay. I thought I read online that you did that at Sun, and that was the first. So the time you recorded there this year was your first time actually recording at Sun?
That's right.
Okay. All right. I mean, it's such.
I believe it was last year.
When you said that when the album first came out. So you really, I mean, you really feel that history when you're in it. Not only of your dad being there, but Johnny Cash and Roy Orbison, Jerry Lee Lewis, and you too. So many great records made in there. I could really feel it when I was there, and I just couldn't imagine what it would have been like for you to have been there. Your whole band enjoyed it too?
Yeah, everybody had a big smile on their face. It was great.
What about going out and doing that show just about 6 weeks ago at the Levitt Band Shell?
That was emotional. I was really nervous, and it was a free concert, and we had no idea what was going to happen. It ended up 6,500 people came.
Oh, wow.
And it was, it felt very like much like a homecoming for me. And my family was there, and the kids were there, and my mom flew in, and it was a big deal. So it was pressure but fun. I mean, I have to really kind of focus on what I'm doing. I can't get too. It was very emotional and very intense, but I kind of have to just keep with what I have to sort of focus on the technicalities of what I normally think about when I'm doing a show.
Yeah.
Otherwise it's just it could get overwhelming.
Yeah, I mean, was that because it was Memphis and it was home and you have fond memories of there from being a child, or was it because you knew that your father had performed on that same stage when he was a young man, or was it a little bit of all of that?
All of it, yeah. All of that, for sure.
And what about going and doing those sessions at the Jungle Room? I believe they're going to air on television in a week or two, and they were done in September. This is a room I assume that people walk through on the tour and they take pictures of it and they imagine, but you have a completely different perspective. You probably played in there when you were a kid, and now there you are recording. What was it like for you? Was it more like just being at home doing a home session, or was it
it was actually. It was very strange because I was very protective of it. You know, like I was really, really, really careful of. First of all these people ended up being there that day. It was a closed session, and we shut down. We waited till the tours shut, and all of a sudden, everybody had invited their entire families to come. I was like, wait, where are all these people coming from? And then, furniture was getting moved, things were moving around. I was getting I was getting upset and sort of antsy and very protective of it up there. So, it was kind of stressful for me more on that front. Otherwise, I was very comfortable. I mean, it was my home, and that's where I grew up, and that's my room. I did watch TV in there and grew up in there and spent a lot of time in there, so it wasn't. I was more worried about the carpet and moving, making sure people wore the protective things around their feet, and, So that was more for me stressful. Just so many people around. I didn't know who was what. People walking through freely in the house was making me, I didn't like it. I was getting really kind of puffed up about a lot of things. But, I mean, I just wanted it to be, it was supposed to be really low-key. All of a sudden, literally, it was like people were flying friends in, their families, and I was like, hey, hold on, what is going on? This is a closed thing, and then it just ended up becoming a circus. But it was good. We did like 3 or 4 songs. It was right after we did the show the night before, so it turned out really good. I get very protective. That's what I get,
Were those songs that you did there, Lisa, were they songs from your album just performed there, or did you record some new songs there?
No. They were just 3 or 4 songs off.
So it's performance, okay. And do you have memories of the Moody Blue album and Elvis Presley Boulevard album being recorded there? Were you around when those sessions were happening?
Yes, I was. I was there for those, yeah.
Next thing I want to talk to you about are some of the duets that you have done. You've done a couple. The first time I ever saw anybody do that, it was, I guess, what Natalie Cole did. But then you went and did Don't Cry Daddy in the Ghetto and I Love You Because, I believe was the last one that you did. How do you go about picking the ones that you want to do when you decide that you like to do that? Usually you do that every couple years or so in conjunction with the anniversary, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
How do you go about picking the songs that you want to do?
I just, I don't know. That's like whatever seems appropriate at the time for me, and Don't Cry Daddy seemed appropriate as the first, and in the Ghetto I loved. Want to raise money for housing projects as well, so that seemed appropriate for that project. I Love You Because T-Bone actually picked that, but then I loved it and thought it was appropriate for that particular one. I mean, each one has just got a different vibe and a different energy, and each one I pick a song for each thing every 5 years.
My last question for you is about the tour. You're coming here in 3 weeks. You'll be playing just outside of Philadelphia. Some artists say that they love to play, but they hate the road. Some artists say they love the road and to play. They love everything about it. Do you like being on the road with your band?
I love being on the road. It's my favorite thing in the world.
Is it? How come?
We're in the middle of a 46, show tour, and we have 19 left, and I'm getting sad that we have 19 left. So I just love it. I love the energy of it. I love the change. It's different every day. I have to conquer every night. I know it. Audience is different every night. Sometimes they're great. We're in Chicago right now. The last 2 nights they've been so enthusiastic. They were on the chairs last night. It was great. I mean, every night's different. I don't know what I'm going to walk into. I don't know how they're going to be. They don't know how I'm going to be. There's no tracks running here. There's no bells or whistles. It's just the record. It's a very intimate record, so it's a very intimate show. So, voices, temperamental and moody, don't always know what it's going to do. You know what I mean? Like, it's all very raw. But it's been going really well. But, it's pretty much, there aren't any tracks running or anything happening. There's not like a big production going on here. So, it's just it's the record live.
Right.
So, and I love doing that. So it's my favorite thing. It's my favorite part of all of it.
Well, I thank you so much for your time. This story will run in the Weekender, which is the largest entertainment paper here in our part of Pennsylvania. It'll also be online, of course, and hopefully I'll be able to come back and hand you a copy of it. And thank you for your time here on the phone today.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And congratulations on Graceland being voted the most iconic place in America. I know that meant a lot to you. And the last thing I just wanted to say is I know that you had I'd read somewhere that you really loved Jerry Schilling's book, and I did too. I did too. I thought it was wonderful, and I was glad to hear that you read it. And I think you'd probably also like George Klein's.
Oh yeah, I haven't read George's, but yeah, I definitely love Jerry's for sure. Yes.
Thanks, Lisa.
George's is fun. George was a good man. He never, he wasn't one of those of whom we don't speak.
I know. I read Harry's and George's, and I thought
I haven't gotten around to it yet. I just haven't gotten around to it yet, but I'll get to it.
I hope to see you in a couple of weeks, Lisa. Thanks so much for your time. Good luck with the rest of the tour. Again, congratulations on a great album.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.